I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Wow. Oh my gosh, y'all. We are here, episode 18. That's right, 18 of Stumptown. This is the season 1 finale. Oh my gosh. We're ready for that season 2, y'all. I'm your host, Ollie Drennan. I'm so excited to be here after 18 episodes with my amazing panel that it's so bittersweet. But first and foremost, I'm here with LaToya Blakely. How are you doing in quarantine, girl?
I'm doing well. I was getting a little stir crazy and had to take a walk today, but I feel much better now.
See, we all need a walk as long as it's a socially distanced walk, healthy, get that fresh air, ready to talk about Stumptown. It's all good. I'm so happy you're here with us. And of course, we got Rach Goodman in the house. She's back. We're going to be talking so much. How are you doing in quarantine, girl?
I'm doing pretty well. I work from home anyway, so my life feels the same, not to take away from everybody else, because I know it's pretty crazy out there right now, especially with jobs. But I've just been doing what I normally do, and I've been doing all my workout videos from home. So, because I know they closed all the gyms in LA too.
Yeah. Shout out to you guys. Before we get into the nitty gritty, we have to do a toast because I've been having the time of my life with you guys. We all got our wine ready, and I think we're all drinking red wine. If you guys aren't tuning in live, get a drink with us. Get some red wine or any of your favorite wine, and we're going to do a toast to Stumptown with my girls. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, cheers. For podcast listeners, we just did a cheers, so tune in. Yes, but it's been such an amazing ride week after week talking about this amazing show. Guys, I want to know your initial thoughts of the finale. So much happened, but wow, what an amazing ride this week was. So what did you think, LaToya? Tell me, girl.
It was my favorite episode. And it really got me excited for a possible season 2. Mm-hmm. I like that we got answers to questions that kind of had been lingering the entire season, as well as like new surprises.
I know, it was perfect. It was so perfect of how they tied some things, getting us ready for that season 2. It was such a good teaser. I think that's what it was. Exactly what you nailed it. Rach, what did you think? So much happened.
It was satisfying.
Yeah,
it was absolutely satisfying. What I appreciated is that they had twists in there that were not obvious from the trailer, because it felt like that trailer they showed us last week to preview what was going to happen. It felt like they gave a lot of things away. So it was nice that they went in very different directions than what we thought. I also really appreciated that they did leave certain things open, but with Benny, we got a lot of closure that I wasn't expecting that we were going to get in season 1.
Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. There were so many twists and turns. I do have one issue with some of the things, which we'll talk about. I still love this show. I will stand the show to the day I die. But so much happened. I love how they just kind of every single storyline integrated into kind of like the main conflict in this episode, which I really enjoyed. I think gave it such good service to the finale that it was. So I appreciate it so much. So why don't we get on to our first topic? I just want to dive right into it because this was a hot topic. Hoffman and Lee. Y'all, okay, we kind of went into it. I know Rach, LaToya, you had different thoughts about their relationship. I was here for it. I was loving the different viewpoints. So what did you think about this particular dynamic, this arc? Because, I mean, Lee kind of sold her boy out. Hoffman, I got the feeling that he still had feelings for Dex in this episode with how he was going about certain situations. What are your thoughts on how everything unfolded with their two conflicting viewpoints with Lee and Hoffman and how they handled Dex? Because obviously Lee kind of thought Dex was the murderer in this episode, whereas Hoffman was here for his girl, Dex.
Yeah, so this week, last episode, I thought we got a very different dynamic than this week. This week, I really felt that Hoffman still had feelings for Dex. He pretty much admits it to his dad without directly coming out and saying it. But then on top of that, I couldn't believe, it was hard for me to believe that Lee would be the one to go against him in a way, because yes, like she is going to be loyal. And maybe it's the fact that that Hoffman was helping Dex that sort of set her off a little bit more to go about betraying him in a way. But I would not have expected Lee to do that based on how she was acting last episode, except if it's for the fact that maybe she's a little bit jealous of Dex and she could feel there was something still there.
Yeah, that's a good point. LaToya, what did you think on this matter?
So I agree with Rachel in terms of Lee maybe being jealous. I'm not surprised that she did this. I did not like her with Hoffman. She was a little too thirsty for me. Like she was excuse me, that she wanted him. And it took her zero time. Exactly. It took her zero time to sell him out. Like zero time. Like she ran into Cosgrove's office almost. It was like blah, 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 blah. I mean, I was disappointed to see it, but I'm not surprised. Like, I didn't think that there was much between them outside of like a random hookup. I am interested to see kind of where that storyline goes in season 2. But I think that was a pretty defining moment.
Yeah, it was so interesting just kind of seeing they were talking in this episode how Hoffman was asking Lee, what are we exactly? Are we just a fling? Are we this or that? And Lee was just kind of like, I feel like Lee's definitely more into Hoffman. I already said this last after show, that she's definitely more invested in their quote unquote relationship than Hoffman. Hoffman's definitely he has to have those feelings. I said it, he has feelings for Dex.
Yeah.
For any of you shippers out there, the Hoffman, the Dex, I like to call it Hex. That's their ship name, you know? So, and the fact that he was still so gung-ho about, you know, protecting Dex in this episode, I feel like that really did show his intentions of trying his best to keep her out of hot water, you know, in any shape or form. Whereas Lee, she's just trying to do her quote unquote job, at least in what she was saying about that situation. But
sorry.
No, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say that I was proud of Hoffman for like stepping up and coming to Dex's rescue, because last episode I said that Hoffman has a tendency to do like shady things. And so I was proud of him for, even when he was like watching the interview and he was like, Dex, stop talking. And then for him to call his dad, I was proud of him. So he redeemed himself a bit in my eyes.
I just want to give a quick shout out. We do have ER's grandpa in the chat.
Hey.
They say, hi, cheers, helping Dex, his ex, side-eye time. So shout out to him, and, you know, keep the comments coming. I'm going to be looking at the chat, so I'll read your comments.
Yeah, and if you guys are unfortunate enough to tune in live, we do have comments. Get those comments going, because we're gonna be looking at those comments after the show wraps. Because, I mean, we gotta wait for season 2, because I know season 2 is coming. You heard it here first. No. Anyway, but any more thoughts before we move on to our next topic? Because you brought up, LaToya, you brought up dads, and I was shooketh at this point. In the beginning of the episode, Dex, she is, you know, charged for murder for TJ. And I'm thinking, oh, what is going on? I thought this was a kidnapping, but lo and behold, she's charged. However, she's got a lawyer on deck, and that is Daddy Hoffman, Lionel. Who else was shook at this revelation? I was baffled. I was baffled, but I was like, this is so perfect to not only integrate his character, but also bring in Hoffman. I was like, this is gold. This writing is amazing. So what did you think of kind of like Lionel getting thrown into the mix of helping Dex in the situation?
I was very surprised by that, but I also think that shows us how much Hoffman still really cares for Dex. That's the moment when I was like, okay, he wouldn't have dealt with his dad if he didn't want Dex to get out of this. So I think that Hoffman did something he would not have wanted to do, but he did it for her and made that sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
I just have to say I love his character. Like, I love him as a lawyer. I love it. And I think that for me, the big theme was that when you care about someone, like you can be estranged from them and not have like a consistent interactive relationship. But when you care about them, you always look out for their best interest. Because like Hoffman isn't really that connected to Dex in the moment, but like he's still looking out for her. And Hoffman isn't close to his dad, but he calls his dad to help Dex, as well as the dad is looking out for him. And so I really appreciate it. Kind of that message of like, yeah, we can have some issues, but like, I always have your back.
Right. And we're not done talking about daddies yet, because we got another daddy to talk about. We're talking about daddies tonight on the after show for Stumptown on AfterBuzz TV. Daddy Gray. Gray's dad shows up. I was like, okay, this finale is just throwing me for a loop. All these characters are appearing again. I did not think we were going to see Gray's father again. And so it showed a lot of his character. Gray's dad came in. I know there was the issue of trying to help conceal Gray Dex in one point of the episode. And he helped out in that. He was here for his son. He was here for Dex. What did you think of his particular position in this episode and how he played a part in Gray's kind of not redemption, but his finally getting that quote unquote closure? Because we know how the episode ends, but Gray's father coming to Gray after kind of standing him up.
So my thought with this is, one, it was very unexpected, like you said, Ollie. I did not expect we were going to see him. I thought that this was going to be a relationship that we were going to address more in season 2, and that is where, if anything, we might see him again. But with Gray, I loved that we see his dad come back, and then all of a sudden, Gray's going to him for help. And we see a kind of, I would say still broken, but we kind of see a father-son moment. And I thought it was nice, but it was obviously still left with a lot of holes. But the fact that they would even have this moment where Gray would go to him for help says to me how much Gray will always care about his dad. And in a way respect him, that kind of like with Hoffman, even though it's a very different situation, but with Hoffman, we saw that he would not go to his dad unless it was a dire circumstance.
Yeah.
And when he did go to him, it kind of just showed us how he would go to his dad. Well, same thing with Gray. In a desperate situation, he would still go to his dad too, despite the going on between them.
Yeah, I liked it. You know, I was hoping at the end of the episode 17 that the storyline would be that something came up that actually kept his dad from being there versus just not coming. And we found out that something did come up, right? Like he admits that he was afraid, and a father's job is to protect his family at all costs, and I didn't do that for you, but I'm here now. So I really appreciated the fact that he showed up in such an honest and vulnerable way. And there were 2 lines that I really liked. I liked when I think that Gray was talking to Dex and telling her that like his dad was back, and he was like, and I actually really like him. So I liked that. And I liked when dad came in and Gray was like, I got this. And dad was like, no, I got this. They were trying to like hide Dex out. So I really liked the relationship that was developing before us. And I hope that we get to see more of that.
Right. It was just so interesting. And I love the fact that these 2 characters kind of have their quote unquote dad issues. And it kind of makes them so much like Gray and Hoffman. They have their quote unquote dad issues, yet they're so similar, yet they have completely different backgrounds despite having these issues with their father figures. So in a sense, they're more similar than they like to lead on, yet despite their differences. Mm-hmm. So I just think it's really interesting, and it's great writing on freaking the Stumptown's writing team. So shout out to you guys, because I'm just here for this Maury, this Jerry Springer, like issues. Like I'm all for the family drama, the family feuds here, y'all. But what did you think? You got to tell me this. Like, what did you think about this is kind of skipping ahead because we're going to talk about Dex. Hello. Dex is the star of the show. But what were your thoughts? And I know it brings more into predictions. Maybe we'll save it. But the fact that when Gray was shot in this episode, he woke up to a man that we've never seen before, and he was talking about his father. What did you think about that issue, about his father kind of being someone who we don't really get a good grasp of? His father ran, apparently, and his father took something that didn't belong to him. So what were your thoughts on that kind of revelation at the end of the episode?
I wasn't surprised. It's almost like we're seeing, I mean, even with Gray at the beginning of season 1, it almost calls back to the secrets that Gray always carried, that he was still involved with, an underground dealing in a way. And so we kind of, I feel like his father obviously has similar situations and he has his own secrets. And I think it would have been too clean if his father had broken away from the crime life completely. So I'm glad that they reintroduced this and that we're going to see where it goes. And also, Ray is not in a place where he has a great relationship with his dad, even after this episode, even if the ending hadn't happened the way it had. I just think that we still need to explore more with that. And they left it very open for us to deal more with that in season 2. Just really quickly, too, we have Dolores Leach in the chat. She says, guest time in here just saw the, first time in here, just saw the episode. Ooh.
Hey, Dolores.
Hi.
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. LaToya, any thoughts on this matter about Gray's shady dad? Because he's like, I was thinking he's just like a deadbeat, not a deadbeat dad, because he has another son. But what did you think about the revelation? Kind of like showing the fact that Gray kind of possibly took after his father in the cold criminal route.
For sure. I mean, I was a little disappointed because it kind of implies that maybe dad was using Gray, like he stuck around because it was beneficial for him. So I hope that's not the case. I mean, Gray did live a life of crime, and so it wouldn't be surprising to find out that he kind of picked up some of those habits from his dad, or like the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. But I do hope that there's a genuine relationship building between Gray and his dad, regardless of anything else. So.
Yeah, because I mean, I saw some similarities as they were talking, and I feel like this particular episode, when they finally did meet, because I wasn't expecting like the meeting in this episode by any means, especially after the last episode where he stood his son up. So it was a really nice surprise, and it really, I feel like even though there wasn't a whole lot in this episode, it really made me root for that potential reignition of their potential relationship, So I'm rooting for the Grays. I'm rooting for the Grays. Son Gray, Daddy Gray.
I did not like the father up until this episode. And when we really saw the way that he interacted with Gray, I was like, okay, I can see this being a relationship that somehow can be mended. But yeah, I mean, it didn't even bother me that much that we found out that he had been involved with, crime still at the end, unless of course, it is related to him using Gray, then that would piss me off, but we don't know yet.
It was definitely such a good tease into the potential, the future of the show of Stumptown season 2, for sure. Mm-hmm. Now, y'all, we got to talk about because poor Dex has been going through it in this episode. She's just trying to find the truth of Benny's murderer. She's trial for murder. I mean, her ridiculous, first and foremost. But I feel like, I just want to say this right now. I was a little, I don't know, I'm really interested in knowing your thoughts of this matter. I was a little disappointed in kind of finding out the truth of Benny's murderer. I think I was relieved. I was mostly satisfied, but I think I was disappointed in the fact that I wish we kind of met maybe like Benny's murderer sooner in the season, kind of like, because I felt like when we found out Benny's murderer, it was just obviously it was one of his members of his squad. I feel like it wasn't necessarily earned because we didn't know that character until the finale. I don't know. I want to know your guys' thoughts on this matter. Were you satisfied? Did you like kind of like, I enjoyed the ride. I loved the fight scene. But what did you guys think of kind of finally getting closure on Benny's murderer?
I completely agree with you. That was my problem with it. I liked the twist in that it was Benny rushing off to blow this, what his unit was doing. I like that twist, but this idea that it was Wolf and that we literally met him this episode. I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'm not saying we should have known him the whole season, but they could have at least showed us a couple of little clips of a picture with Benny and this guy, maybe made it more obvious that there was this, that we were going to see this character again. And while we're at it, Wolf, and then we also could have seen TJ more and seen him sing.
Right.
And just kind of, they could have really just really mined that a little bit better. And then it wouldn't have been such a, okay, well, just met the guy and now he's dead. And, now, yeah. Okay, great.
Yeah. His name was Robert. Correct me if I'm wrong. Robert was the main guy.
The Wolf was the sergeant. I didn't catch his first name. Then there was TJ. And then there was also Father Cale Murphy.
Yeah. So it just felt like I was satisfied knowing, okay, the truth, everything came to surface. But I was like, oh man, I kind of wish they would have implemented that. The suspect, the main, the killer, the murderer sooner in the season, just so it would have been more shocking, I guess. I wanted more of a shock.
We've got some chat comments too with theories.
Oh, yes. Let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. So Dolores Leach, it made me wish that he was somehow still alive, Benny, but I'm a soap opera junkie, so maybe I'm just thinking so popular, no one's really dead. Yeah, I was hoping Benny wasn't dead too, but I also watch The Young and the Restless, so I'm a soap opera person. And then ER's grandpa said, I suspected Wolf the whole time. And then Dolores has one more comment. I love the story. I love how it came full circle, gave me a new insight into Dex.
Latoya, what do you think about this matter?
I mean, I guess I can agree that it wrapped up pretty quickly. Like, it was a pretty complicated plot that was covered up by the U.S. government. And so maybe it could have been explored a little longer and through more episodes. But it didn't really bother me. Like, when it was over with, I didn't feel like I'd missed out on anything. So I am okay with it. Though we did meet the murderer, that was very quick. It was very brief. Like, we met him, and then he was dead.
Right. I guess I like that you're bringing that up, because in a sense, like, it kind of, okay, cool. Like, obviously Benny's murderer, she did get closure at the end of the day. I feel like the whole point of this was for Dex's character to get closure, because she's been feeling all this guilt, harboring all these emotions, and it's affected her for years. So at the same time, I have to be like, breathe, Ollie. It's fine. Dex still has all of these other emotions and all of these other struggles that she's dealing with, which we're about to talk about, that are also coming into fruition. So in a sense, I have to like slap myself, like, Ollie, it's fine, it's cool. Like, this wrapped up the way it needed to, in order for Dex to kind of, deal with other problems. So any more thoughts before we move on? Because we're starting to get into prediction territory.
Go for it.
All right. Well, I mean, this episode ends. Okay, this episode ends. And we're thinking we're going to get a dinner scene, because apparently Ansel, shout out to Ansel. We missed you, Cole, who portrays Ansel. Ansel is going through his own relationship problems with Lila. And I know, if you know me, I ship those two so hard. But apparently he broke up with her. And so they're planning, Tuki's over at Dex's house. They're planning a dinner. This episode ends with the biggest cliffhanger ever, with Dex thinking Lila's at the door to greet her for this dinner. And guess who it is? It's Mama Dex.
Yeah.
Dex's and Ansel's mom is at the door, rings the doorbell. Were you guys expecting this? I know this is more of lead into predictions, but what did you kind of think of this kind of, this was a twist of seeing. I feel like this storyline was definitely something that was teased throughout the season, and for it to end on a cliffhanger, I want to know your thoughts on how this kind of affects Dex's character in this state of mind.
I was not expecting that at all. And it took me a second because when the door opened, I didn't register the height. So I was like, okay, I thought it was Lila because I just assumed it was Lila. And she was like, Mom. And I'm like, but okay, that's fine. And but yeah, no, I was not expecting that at all. And I mean, I have my theories about why her mother's there, and we don't even know if it's the father too, because we just see one body. But
Right.
yeah, I'll save my theories on why I think she's there for predictions though.
Good.
I didn't think it was Lila, but I had no idea who it was going to be. Like I was just waiting for the. So yes, I was surprised to hear her say "mom."
You thought it was Lee. Lee's about to punch her. No, Lee's about to punch her. No. But honestly, I think that was one of my favorite parts of this episode, if not my favorite part of this episode. It's a perfect segue. It's a perfect tease into the future of the show. I was here for it. I just want Ansel and Lila to get back together because they were so cute together. So I don't know what the deal is on that, but hopefully those two come together again.
Comment about that when we get to news.
Okay, perfect. Any more thoughts before we get on to our special segment? Nothing? Okay, well, perfect. We're going to get to our special segment because I'm so interested in knowing what stumped you what stumped you in this particular episode. And if you don't know what our special segment is, basically all you got to do, and you got stumped, tell us what you thought was the most shocking, stump-worthy moment of this episode. So anyone want to go first before I go first?
I can say.
Oh, you both want to go.
I mean, something really shocked me. Kale Murphy punching her in the booth, punching her. Like, come on. Like, if he was going to run, he could have just ran. But he decided to punch first, then run. I was like, okay, now I get it. Like, he's obviously a man of crime and he's not a real father, but to punch someone and then run? Yeah.
I agree with Rachel. That was my first one. And my second one was when Hoffman turned in his badge at the end.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I'm like, okay, well, Hoffman better be in season 2 because I'm going to be mad if Michael Ealy ain't in the cast. But I feel like with mine, I have to give it to kind of like the end of the episode where we got Dex's mom at the door, because there were so many great moments, such as the father not really being the father. He was part of the squad. Hoffman, which I didn't think about, LaToya, thank you for bringing that up. He turned in his badge. Like, there were so many great twists in this episode that I totally enjoyed. And so I just have to give it to the mom, that Mama Dex, Mama Perios. I don't know who she is, but this leads us to news and gossip. So LaToya, take it away, girl, because you got us some news and gossip.
I do. Ollie sent an article from Entertainment Weekly where Kobe has been interviewed, and she talks about the season, the last episode, and a possible season 2. So the show has not been renewed yet. I mean, I think we're all hopeful that it does get picked up for a season 2. But she talks about who she would like to play her mom, and she names 3 people. Susan Sarandon is one person. We go to Mary Steenburgen, who I think would be a really good choice for her mom, and then Mary McDonnell is her third choice. So I think all of that's interesting. Also, Kobe says that while she's been quarantined, her family has just finished watching Tiger King. I have not seen it. I've seen the headlines all over social media, so apparently it is the thing to watch.
Apparently.
And last but not least, I think we all thought that like Ansel and Layla had broken up, but based on this interview that Kobe gave, it seems as though that's not the case at all, and that Ansel had really been talking to the mom and had orchestrated this reunion. So I would not be surprised if in season 2, Ansel already knows who's at the door.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yep.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Dex is going to be mad if that's the case, because Tukey was in on it too, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I'm ready for the mess that is season 2 of Stumptown. I don't know about you guys, but whew, that's exciting. I'm excited to know if there is a season 2, which there's going to be because I said so. Who would play Mama Perios?
Yeah. Yeah.
We're gonna say something, Rachel?
No, I'm ready for predictions. I'm just waiting.
Well, I mean, why don't we get on to it? We're ready for predictions. Yeah. Let's do it right now. Okay. So, Rachel, go for it.
Okay. Now that you've said that, okay, all the conversations we saw with Ansel talking to who we thought was Layla and saying I love you, but like I think it was like, okay, like very like, I don't think I love you, but like very like curt and like very like hurting conversations, like very like I thought he was going through a breakup, but now that you've said that, I think it was the mother the whole time that he was on the phone with. What I was going to say earlier is that I think it had to do with I'm guessing when Dex went to her aunt and said something and was going there looking for her mom. I almost wonder if somehow, even though her aunt is suffering from dementia, if somehow the aunt had a lucid moment, or a neighbor or someone else found out Dex had been there, and that's what prompted the mom and or the parents both together to go back. That's what I'm thinking. But I really think that Ansel, that makes complete sense that Ansel would have known the whole time and that he was the one who orchestrated it.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, Latoya, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that too. That Ansel knew the whole time and orchestrated it. As well as I think that Hoffman is gonna come back in season 2 and once again profess his love for Dex, because this is right here for him. So.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh my gosh, but can you imagine? Dex must be furious, you know? Maybe she won't be furious. Maybe she's going to be relieved to finally see her mom at the same time, but she just seems so shocked at the end of the episode. But clearly Dex loves being in control, so I just wonder how exactly she's going to react in this particular moment. Is there going to be a dinner scene? Are we going to get a flash forward of everything after the dinner scene? I'm so interested in knowing how they're going to progress with season 2, because I said it, there's going to be season 2. But I don't know. You guys also got to let us know, are you a Dex and Hoffman shipper? Are you a Hex? I call them Hex. Or are you a Gray and Dex shipper? I call them Dre. Are you Dre or are you Hex? Let us know in the comments below. No. But oh my gosh, there's just so much speculation, so much theories and speculation. You guys gotta let us know your comments, your thoughts, your theories in the comments below if you're not tuning in live, because there's so much that can happen, so many possibilities that can happen in season 2. But I do want to shout out everyone in the live chat. ER's grandpa, Dolores Leach, you guys are phenomenal. Thank you guys for tuning in and letting us know your thoughts. Any more predictions before we have to wrap up, unfortunately?
I don't think so.
Anything? Oh my gosh. This is so bittersweet. I've had the time of my life doing the show, Stumptown Season 2, with you, Latoya and Rachel. You guys are amazing. I love the chemistry that we have together. I'm going to miss it. This is one of my saving graces during this quarantine time. But I hope everyone out there has a great, safe, happy, healthy quarantine time. COVID-19 is no joke. Be safe. Stay home. Where can I find you guys on social media during quarantine lockdown? And any projects you want to promote?
Projects. I wish we had projects.
You can have some projects at home projects.
Yeah, doing training. I'm on Instagram, Latoya.Blakely, Twitter, Blakely Latoya. I'm also on the after show for The Most Dangerous Animal of All. We should have a couple of more episodes coming at you soon. So check that out.
Awesome. And I'm Rachel Goodman. You can find me on Twitter at Rach Goodman, or on my author Instagram account at Rachel Radner Author. I just put out a book a couple weeks ago called A Setting Sun Can't Save My Soul. It's a darker romance, so if you are interested in that genre, that might be the book for you. I'm also on the Outlander panel, as well as when it comes back, the Retro of Anatomy AfterBuzz panel.
Yes. Well, be sure to follow them. I'm your host, Ollie Drennan. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Ollie Dreamer. I also do the Drag Race After Show on Sundays. Tune into that. Until then, I mean, guys, we're going to see you back for season 2 of Stumptown on ABC very soon. Until then, cheers, y'all. Stumptown. We love you guys.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.